HubSpot is a powerful CRM, but only when the data inside is good. Most CRMs look clean at first, but when you actually start using them, you quickly see the problem. Many contacts are incomplete, some companies are outdated, and most of the time there is little context for outreach. And this creates some issues for your sales team. Reps spend time searching on LinkedIn or Google instead of focusing on selling. They also spend a lot of time trying to understand who they are talking to, what the company does, and how to personalize their message. And we all know what happened next. Bad data leads to bad targeting, and bad targeting leads to poor sales performance. And this is exactly where data enrichment comes in. It helps you to automatically complete and improve your CRM data, so you already have the context before you even reach out. Of course, there are dozens of enrichment tools on the market, but in this video, I will look at the most useful data enrichment tools, and more importantly, I will help you to understand which ones you actually need. Before we look at these tools, it is important to understand one thing. All data enrichment tools don't solve the same problem. Some tools help you clean your CRM automatically, some connect LinkedIn to HubSpot, while others focus on providing very specific types of data. So instead of listing tools randomly, we're going to organize them based on real use cases. This way, you can clearly see what fits to your situation and avoid adding unnecessary complexity to your stack, because we all hate that. We really hate that. So let's dive in. Before adding any external tool, you should always start with HubSpot itself. HubSpot already offers a built-in enrichment feature called Breeze Intelligence. Pretty new, they revamped it a lot, but it automatically fills in basic information for your contacts and companies. And for example, it can add job titles, company, size, industry, and location. And it does all of this in the background without any manual step or integration. This makes a very strong starting point because it ensures that your CRM is not empty and gives you a minimum level of data to work with. But it is only the foundation. The data is often quite basic, sometimes not fully up to date, and you don't get the key information like emails or phone numbers. It also doesn't help you find new leads or support outbound strategies. My advice is simple: turn it on. Leverage this tool included in your HubSpot plan as your starting point, and only add tools when you actually need more depth or more precision. Now, let's move to one of the most common use cases in B2B sales, which is LinkedIn prospecting. Today, most sales teams rely heavily on LinkedIn to find leads, research, prospect, and start conversations. But HubSpot doesn't naturally capture this activity, which creates a gap between where your prospecting happens and where your data is stored. So what happens in most teams is very simple. People copy and paste information, they forget to update the CRM, and over time, the data becomes incomplete and inconsistent. This is exactly where LinkedIn enrichment tools become really essential. So first of all, this is my disclaimer. This is one of my products. It's Hublead Enrichment, which allows you to enrich your HubSpot list directly from your HubSpot CRM. For example, you can take any static list, click on enrich, and a new enriched list will automatically be created with missing information like name, job title, LinkedIn URL or location, and of course, emails and phone number. You don't need to export the data. You don't need to use another tool, 2 or 3 tools. What makes this tool particularly useful is its simplicity, and it's more accurate than Breeze Enrichment. I'll let you try for free and decide by yourself. Using our product for free is the best advertisement I can do. Last but not least, then we have the Hublead Chrome extension. Last time I pitched you one of my products. It directly integrates LinkedIn to HubSpot, and it's for sales team. So while your sales team is prospecting on LinkedIn or LinkedIn Sales Navigator, they'll be able to import or link a contact to your HubSpot directly, just one click. So it's really easy for them to update the CRM. They will do it, and you will be bluffed that your sales team is actually updating the CRM. It's not a rumor, it's possible. And also, they can import LinkedIn messages or LinkedIn Sales Navigator messages to HubSpot, and the invitation sent and accepted to HubSpot so you can really leverage LinkedIn data inside HubSpot. Okay, that's the end of the shameless promotion of my product. Let's see alternative to mine. There is a native LinkedIn Sales Navigator integration. It helps you to identify decision makers, track job changes since you have Sales Navigator, and understand what is happening inside companies. For example, when someone changes roles or joins a new company, it often creates a perfect opportunity for outreach. That kind of context is extremely valuable for timing and relevance. However, Sales Navigator does not automatically push that data into HubSpot, so you will need another tool to turn that information into structured CRM data, and I already showed it to you. And depending on your setup, it can be really expensive if you go for the highest plan of Sales Navigator. And if LinkedIn is really at the center of your prospecting strategy, you know the alternative right now. Let's talk about outbound, especially when you start scaling your efforts. At that stage, your needs change significantly. You need more contacts, more data points, and faster ways to build and enrich your list. This is where larger enrichment platform comes into play. The first one is ZoomInfo, which is one of the most famous B2B database in the market right now. It provides both companies and contact details, which allows you to build large prospect lists very, very quickly. This is why it's widely used by enterprise sales teams that need both volume and depth. But there is a clear downside. It is very expensive, and for many teams, it is simply too much if they are not using its full capabilities. Next, we have Apollo, which is a more accessible and flexible option. Apollo combines data enrichment and outreach in one platform, so you can find leads and contact them without switching tools. Another advantage is pricing. Apollo has a free plan and paid plans that start at a much lower level than many enterprise tools. So it is easier to test and adopt without a huge commitment. This makes it very attractive for smaller and growing teams that want to move fast and keep costs under control. The trade-off is that since it's a more budget-friendly database, the database may not always be as strong and as precise as premium providers, and some manual work might be required to verify the data. But if your priority is speed, volume, and ease of execution, Apollo is clearly a very strong option. Then there is Clay, which is one of the most flexible and advanced tools in the vSpace. Clay allows you to combine multiple data sources and build custom enrichment workflows according to your need. For example, you can enrich leads with company data, hiring signers, funding information, or even recent news. This makes it extremely powerful for teams that want very precise targeting. But it also comes with more complexity because you need to design your workflows and define how you want to enrich your data. So it requires more time, more thinking, and a bit more experience. In some cases, the issue is not the quantity of data, but the type of data you are using. This is where more specialized tools can become much more relevant than a general database. For example, BuiltWith focuses on technographic data and shows you which tools a company is using. This is particularly useful if your product depends on specific technologies because it allows you to tailor your outreach in a much more relevant way. For instance, knowing that the company already uses Microsoft or HubSpot completely changes how you approach them. The good news is that you can use this tool for free on a given website, making it very accessible data enrichment tool. Then we have Store Leads, which is focused on e-commerce companies. It allows you to segment companies based on the platform they use, such as whether they use Shopify or Magento, for example. And it also updates HubSpot records weekly with contact details, job titles, and phone numbers, keeping your HubSpot data updated over time. This is more niche tool, but when it matches your target audience, it becomes, of course, extremely effective because instead of targeting broadly, you can focus on companies that are really, really relevant to your offer. Finally, there is Datagma, which is particularly useful if your team needs accurate contact details and deeper enrichment directly inside HubSpot. Datagma integrates with HubSpot very well and enriches your contact with over 75 data points, including mobile and landline numbers, company data, and technographic information. What makes it interesting that it goes beyond basic enrichment. It can also support lead scoring and routing, which means you can automatically prioritize high quality leads and send them to the right sales rep. In practice, this is very useful for teams that want to combine enrichment with better qualification and faster execution. Finally, let's talk about data flow, because at some point, it's important to make sure your data moves correctly across your different tools to avoid losing context and create inefficiencies. This is where tools like Zapier come in. Zapier is not a traditional enrichment tool, but it is extremely useful for automating workflows and connecting HubSpot with thousands of other apps. That means you can move data from tools like Google Sheets, databases, or other platforms directly into HubSpot without manual work. So even if Zapier does not provide the data itself, it plays a very important role in making your data strategy work in practice. So these are, in my opinion, some of the most useful HubSpot data enrichment tools, depending on your needs and your sales setup. Now that we've looked at the different categories, let's quickly wrap this up with the main takeaway. Most teams believe they need more tools to improve their sales performance. But in reality, what they need is better data. Remember, more data does not mean better data, but better data means better decisions. So my advice is simple. Start with HubSpot native enrichment tool and only add tools when you need them. And always try to keep your setup as simple as possible. If you want to go deeper and have information about pricing, I recommend you to check the full article in the description below. And if you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more HubSpot content.